USC and Michigan considering leaving. See ya. Adios. I'm out of here. This place sucks. Leaving the Big Ten Conference over the private equity deal. I'm Dylan Hilder. This is the Dylan Hilder Show. Make sure to like, subscribe. Let's dive into this, what could very well be earth-shattering. I mean, college football earth-rattling. And that's even an understatement. This could potentially end up being a story the size that wiped out that size meteor that wiped out the dinosaurs. It is absolutely insane. Schools could pursue independence or SEC membership if they reject the California Pension Fund deal. This article from Ian Miller from Outkick. The wave of conference alignment seemed to have reached a crescendo a few years ago with the collapse of the Pac-12. God, that was a wild time. USC, UCLA, Washington, Oregon joined the Big Ten. Stanford and Cal, two teams located near the Pacific Ocean, joined the Atlantic Coast Conference. Colorado, Arizona, and Utah went to the Big 12, along with Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. It seemed like major programs were set for this foreseeable future. Huh. Oh boy. Yeah, that's not... I mean, if you want to say 10 years from now is foreseeable future, I mean, yeah. 10 years, 10 years. I mean, that's a long time. But in the new world of college football, we keep learning a very valuable lesson. Never ever count out realignment in the search for more money. It's been a long simmering point of discussion that the Big Ten has been looking to add an injection of private equity, essentially selling off parts of its new corporate enterprise to an outside investor. Reportedly, most of the 16 programs in the conference have been in favor of the plan, which has crystallized around a 20-year, $2.4 billion investment from the California Pension Fund. But news broke this week that the two holdouts, who are vehemently opposed to it, and they're big ones, USC and the Michigan Wolverines. Yeah. If Michigan says no, you might want to take their word for it. They are the law school. They are the Harvard of the North. Well, between them and Notre Dame, but I mean, or I guess Michigan is essentially Harvard, but with good football. Like, Michigan's where the smart guys go. And I'm quite shocked, quite frank. I'm shocked that it's just Michigan and USC. I with what I know on this deal, I mean, I'm stunned that Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon are like, wait, hold up, what? We're only getting a few $1 million for being locked in for 10 more years, and we're losing 10% of our media rights. Yeah, I don't know about that. Those two schools are apparently so opposed that they have reportedly considered the nuclear option. And no, it's not ending the filibuster in this one, but leaving the Big Ten entirely. I mean, it is absolutely an option. Michigan, they would not only survive being independent in football, they would thrive. They would be able to do what Notre Dame does at a much better pace because their academics isn't as demanding as Notre Dame. Uh, and I guess it depends on which side of the fence you fall on as far as which tradition's better between Michigan and Notre Dame. I just find Michigan's history absolutely fascinating, especially pre 1950s, because college football in the pre 1950s was makes the Wild West look like child's play with how much crap was going on. Which that's gonna be that's gonna be an off season series that I'm gonna do, but nonetheless, uh, USC I think they'd be all right. USC, all they got to do is go to that NBC, go to NBC, say, hey, we want to work with you. We'll work with you. Just give us a number. Give us a number. How about $1 billion? How about $1 billion over 10 years? And NBC's gonna say, all right. And obviously, you're gonna have daily shows talking about your sports. And Michigan, they'd be able to command a even higher. I mean, it can go to ESPN, NBC, CBS. I mean, you you would have full control of your schedule. You'd be able to do what Notre Dame does. Schedule schedule a tough team at the beginning of the year, and if you win, great. If not, oh well. You got 11 more. You got 11 more games that you control. I mean, if you're smart, you're having 8 home games a year. Two of them at least 2 of them being good, and you'd be able to open up and have this rotating deal with USC and Notre Dame, where you have this like little fun rivalry going. Which independent program's the best? Like, build a trophy, have it be a traveling trophy. I mean, so many things you can do. I mean, and even with that, I mean, it's absolutely like everything's on the table. Like Michigan, USC, and Jerry World each and every year, or at or or Notre Dame, Michigan, and Lambeau every year, or you can do the home and home. I mean, you can do the home and home. You can do like Ford Field and the Rose Bowl or SoFi. I mean, just like it's just an endless amount of opportunities there. But anyway, I digress. USC and Michigan face a massive decision moving forward. Yahoo Sports reported this week that the conference has issued an ultimatum to SC and to Michigan: get with the investment or risk losing out. That's not an ultimatum. That's a guarantee. And you know how Michigan's going to make up the gap? Yeah, we're going to turn to our several billion-dollar owners or alumni and say, hey, yeah, they're getting like 200 million. Can we get like 200 million? I mean, that'd be nice. I mean, and they're going to cut the check every single time. What gets what what gets lost to especially the casual fans, as Josh Pate will say, will call it, or people who don't quite understand, especially when it comes to college football, the fans will walk barefoot over coals if it meant their team won. They will swim up a erupting volcano and they will swim uphill in lava if it would help their team win. And you are given this opportunity to fund your team to win a national championship or to have a chance at a national championship. And people that go to Michigan They ain't stupid. They get rich. They get very, very rich. SC, same deal. A little bit smaller scale, but still. I mean, you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millionaires that have ungodly amounts of money to burn, desperate to see SC win again. But anyway, back to the article. In messages sent to Michigan and USC, the Big Ten has signaled that it is moving forward with the deal, even delivering to each program a proposed deadline for their decision. If they don't agree to the deal, the schools may lose additional capital as part of the landmark proposal and risk their future within the conference beyond 2036. The current end of the existing grant of rights agreement, or the current 2036 is the current end of the existing grant of rights agreement. League officials are socializing a specific date, November 21st, for a vote on the capital investment proposal, the article reads. According to the report, Michigan is opposed to the arrangement, because the administration views it as a unnecessary payday loan that bails out teams who have done a poor job managing their finances. USC is opposed to it because as a new member, they'd get less in distribution than the big legacy programs like Ohio State and Penn State, a lot less, like $40 to $50 million less, which is about 3/4 of a season, if not a full season, in revenue. The disagreements are apparently so significant, the rumors of one or both schools could pursue independence instead of remaining in the Big Ten, or as some suggested, join the SEC instead. While rumors are rumors, much of the conference realignment craze started as a rumor. And I mean, if you scroll back far enough in my YouTube video, on my YouTube page, you can see where I was saying, hey, Oregon's going to go to the Big Ten, and Washington's going to go with them. And this was long before it was a thing. And one of the things that caught my attention was Ohio State and Washington, they canceled their home and home series. And that was interesting. Ooh. And then there was some sort of post with the Duck and Brutus the Buckeye. It was like, ooh, it's going to happen. It is going to happen. We don't know when, but we know it will. And sure enough, here we are. We got Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA all in the Big Ten. Now, USC and Michigan are among a handful of programs that could survive as independent programs. And again, I want to reiterate, they wouldn't just survive, they would thrive. And I honestly think they do better as independents as Big Ten members alone already. Especially if it stays with this, like, spend what you can. Spend what you want. Go for it, champ. Because, again, Michigan can have NIL coffers that would make the New York Yankees gulp. Their athletic departments are big and well-funded, with traditions and large fan bases behind them. The SEC would happily welcome those schools, too. Per On3's Andy Staples, while, again, it makes no sense to add LA and Ann Arbor to the SEC footprint, it would make the SEC television rights even more insanely valuable. Imagine USC Texas, Michigan Georgia, USC Bama, Michigan Oklahoma as a part of a regular season SEC schedule. Is it likely? No. There are immense incentives for SC and Michigan to stay where they are, and the Big Ten has mostly denied they're rushing into an investment. All right, so I want to put a I want to call BS on that one. If they weren't rushing into this, USC would have known about this and they would have been having second thoughts on imploding the Pac-12. Because you have to remember this move all started with Oregon and Washington, or no, it started. I think it started with. I think USC and UCLA were first, and UCLA was only coming because of USC, and then Oregon and Washington came like the next week. So if USC would have known something like this was in the works, then I don't think they would have come over. So it leads me to believe, yeah, they're rushing into this, and they're and they haven't really thought this out, or at least they haven't on a scale that involves the athletic programs or the schools. But anyway, but this went from impossible to just a few months ago to unlikely by mid-November. As we've learned in modern college athletics, all it takes to go from unlikely to happening is a few weeks and a few dollars. Great article by Ian Miller of Outkick. Uh, he this yeah, to have your media rights locked up for 20 years is clinically insane. And for what, $200 million for the top schools is insane. How Ohio State, how uh Oregon, Penn State are saying no. Not a chance. Is astounding. 2046. That is 21 years from now. How are you possibly going to be able to uh predict how we're going to be consuming media by then? I mean, 21 years ago, we were using VCR. 21 years ago, Patriots just got done going back to back in the Super Bowl with a young with a young buck and Tom Brady. I mean, it's clinically insane. I mean, who would have thought 21 years ago we'd be able to watch college football on a phone? We would be able to watch full games, full length movies, uninterrupted, at no extra charge on a phone plan to watch television on a phone. You look at phones, like, because phones are now the driving media source. Phones in 2004. I mean, imagine telling somebody, oh, you son of a. Imagine telling somebody in 2004 that in 15 to 18 years from now, you're going to be able to watch TV on a phone. On a phone. They're going to look at you sideways. And not only that, and you're going to use this thing called the internet. Which, it was a thing back then. It just wasn't widely available. I think you had, dial-up or something like that. But, I mean, it's clinically insane. I mean, to have your have your media rights locked up for 20 years is insane. We don't know what college football is going to look like in 5 years. Recording live television was not a thing in 2004. You had to use a blank VCR tape and have it on the television. I think. Before my time. I don't. But it is absolutely insane. I mean, I don't even think YouTube was a thing. YouTube launch date. YouTube wasn't even launched 20 years ago. Well, it was 20 years ago. It was 2005. I mean, but still not widely known. And Google bought it for 1.6 billion. But I mean, it's insane. Better yet, not just tell me how we're going to consume media 20 years from now. How are we going to be consuming media in 5 years? 5 years from now. I mean, you have the ESPN app, you have the Fox One. I mean, everything is like, I really can't tell you how we're going to be consuming media in 5 years. I mean, are we still going to be using phones? Are we going to be using like Apple glasses or Meta glasses or X glasses? I mean, gonna have chips in the brains or like how? We don't know, and it is utterly insane to have something locked up that long. The uncertainty. If I would have told you 10 years ago, Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA are gonna be in the Big Ten, you would have thought I was nuts. I mean, you look at 5 years ago. Well, I guess it would have 5 years ago. I told you Texas and Oklahoma, they're going to be in the SEC. And the smart fans would have said, "Oh no, they're going to the Pac-12. They're probably going to go to the Pac-12." Nope. That didn't go well. And it's just insane. Absolutely insane. So I really don't know how I can express on how insane this is that the Big Ten's doing this, and that Ohio State, Oregon, Penn State are all on board with this. I don't know if their board of regents are just utter morons, money grabbing, or whatever the case. Either way, there is a lot of stupidity running around Columbus, State College, Eugene, to think that this is a good deal. $1 billion for another 10 years, and you're losing 10% of your media rights? No, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. But, alright. I guess I'm going to call it there. I am 110% behind USC and Michigan. And if they have to leave the Big Ten, they will leave the Big Ten. They should leave the Big Ten. Because I think both teams will be able to thrive as independents, or if they want to go to the SEC, see ya. Actually, I think that'd be very interesting to see USC and Michigan run through the SEC schedule. I might make a hypothetical next week. I think I might make a hypothetical next week of what would happen if Michigan and USC went to the SEC. Stay tuned for that. But so you don't miss it, you gotta make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss that coming up next week. And also, as some know, I do also cover racing, Formula 1 and NASCAR. Hopefully next year do a lot more IndyCar. But until then, we'll see you in the next one.